Hello, good evening, everyone. How you doing? It's Wednesday, hump day. We're halfway through this week. And once again, we are here with our holistic pet care series. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Croom, Army Vet, and I am your holistic veterinarian. I'm educating you on how simple holistic pet care really can be. It can be convenient, it can be low cost, and it can be right at home. So that's really my main gist of what I want to make sure that you understand about not only Dr. Croom Mobile Veterinary Service, but also holistic pet care in general. So welcome everyone. Good evening, Mr. Robert Crazy Air Holmes. Great to see you on the live. He had some little hands waving. Thank you for joining tonight, Robert. Really appreciate that. So, every night this week we've been going live. We've been talking about topics that are really interesting to pet owners and really crucial to their positive care for their pets. And so tonight, this is a question that I've been asked before. I've been asked if I could do a segment on this. So I figured, you know what? Why don't we go ahead and hit that this week? Because it's actually a topic that it's always important. It's always important. And so a lot of pet owners that take their pets to a more traditional veterinarian, right? So I'm holistic focused. And some veterinarians are strictly traditional. They don't really recommend holistic products and things like that. And so pet owners who are more on the traditional route might just take their dog in and say, you know what, Doc, vaccinate my dog, give him everything he needs. Fluffy needs everything. Let's do it. Okay. And we get that a lot too. Like just, Dr. Croom, whatever you think is best, let's go ahead and do that. But I will say, as I put the topic here of what we're talking about tonight, and that is to vaccinate or not to vaccinate. That is the question. And that is the question. That is the question that I get asked all the time as a holistic veterinarian. Okay. So typically pet owners that come searching and seeking me out are the ones that are not saying, oh, Doc, just give Fluffy all the vaccines he needs. They're the ones that are saying, you know what? I'm trying to give the least amount of vaccinations I can give to Fluffy. Can you help? And my answer to that is yes. Yes. So let's talk about it, you guys. Let's talk about it right now. And if you have any questions at all in the chat, you can go ahead and put them in there, whether it's about vaccinations, whether it's about senior pets, which is another topic that I love. And that definitely intersects in this conversation about to vaccinate or not to vaccinate. So again, thank you so much for being here tonight. Hey there, Mel. Great to see you tonight. Oh, you are so right. Look at what Mel said. Such a touchy subject, but so important. So right. That's right. That's why, when I was thinking about, the various topics that I wanted to go over, this was right at the top of the list. Do we vaccinate? How much? When? Why? And so let's get into it a little bit. Great to see you tonight, Mel. All right. So first things first, we know that there's such a thing as core vaccinations, right? When you get a new puppy or a new kitten, whether you get a horse or a rabbit, all of these mammals, right? And then also reptiles as well, can be vaccinated against various diseases that we have learned that affect them. We have learned this over the years. We've seen how viruses and bacteria mutate and change. We've even seen that pretty recently, huh? But it's been like that in the animal kingdom, forever. And we as veterinarians are one of the main defenders of health because a lot of these diseases that pets have are zoonotic and they can be transferred to humans. I'll probably do another whole talk on that because that is so important. There's various parasites that can infect pets that can also creep into, your bed or your house or your carpet. And that can be really, really a tough situation to deal with. And so people come to me and say, can I give less, anti-parasitics? Can I give fewer vaccinations? So again, on the dog side, the dogs are one of the main species that we see here at Dr. Croom Mobile Veterinary Service. And if you have a dog, you already know, or if you maybe put in the chat, so for those of you who are on now, what the core dog vaccines are, if you would. Let me see what my audience knows here. Now, if you come over here, you put the comment over here in the chat. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. What are the core vaccinations for the canine? We'll go with the canine first. I'll give you a couple seconds here because we've got some vaccinations that are required legally, and then we've got some that might just be necessary based on where you and your pet live. Okay, so what are the core vaccines for dogs? I would say that there are 4 or 5, depending on where you live. 4 or 5 core dog vaccines. I'm trying to see if anyone in the crowd. Let's see here. Let me look over on my Tenera Croom page. Oh, there you are. Hi there, Vet Tech Tony. Okay. Oh, she said I'll wait. Yeah, I mean, you need to wait. If Amani jumped on here, I'd probably tell her to wait too. But great to see you tonight, Tony. All right, I see Mel put in the chat. Okay, let's start up here. Give me some hearts if you think these are correct answers that Mel is giving. Give me some hearts, some thumbs up, something like that. I want to see it. She said distemper, parvo, adenovirus, and rabies. Look at you. Look at you knowing adenovirus. Okay. Look, I tease. Some of these diseases, some of these viruses are just, they have more than one name, or the acronym, might stand for one thing and it might be slightly different from vet to vet. So we got a thumbs up from Vet Tech Tony. Hey there, Michelle D. Clark. Good to see you tonight. Had a couple little hiccups, started a couple minutes late, but I see that we still got a full house. So thank you so much for being here, Michelle. You're cracking up over there, Mel, because you are right. I know. I'm teasing you a little bit because you threw in that adenovirus. And I'm going to give you a big old thumbs up too. Can we give thumbs up and hearts and stuff here in StreamYard? StreamYard, we need to add that, okay? So I'm going to give a big thumbs up and a heart to Mel because you are absolutely correct. Distemper, which is a bacterial infection. Parvovirus, which we know is a virus, and so many people have dealt with that. Puppies, young puppies, even it can affect older animals as well. Hepatitis, adenovirus. So sometimes you'll see DAPP, right? Distemper, adenovirus, parvovirus, and then parainfluenza. Okay, parainfluenza. I mean, you guys are not in vet school right now. I am not going to give you a test on these, okay? But sometimes you see DAPP, sometimes you see DHPP, sometimes they're interchangeable, okay? But we are vaccinating against all of these things in dogs. These are the core vaccines in dogs, and then rabies, okay? So great job, Mel. Now, rabies, though, is unique because it's the only one that's typically legally required. And again, that's why people come to me who are holistically focused. They're usually already holistically focused in their own lives. And now they're like, you know what? Fluffy's a part of the family too. We want Fluffy to be extremely healthy and live his best life too. So we're going to go on the holistic route there. Let's find a holistic vet. Boom, Dr. Croom, Army vet. You got it. Because again, my focus is to make holistic pet care convenient for you. Also, low cost. Sometimes people think, oh, you're a mobile veterinarian, so I know it must be just so much more. And when you break it down, it's actually not. We get you a virtual visit in there, and we come out to your house if needed and if you're in our area. So not at all. We're here to educate, teach, and just allow things to be a little bit more simple. Things don't have to be so difficult. So with the vaccinations, again, people come to me, and even though rabies is the only one that's legally required in most states, still pet owners come to me and say, Dr. Croom, can you either give less of the vaccination, or can we, not give the vaccine at all? What I say is the pet owner always has the right to choose. As long as I am here to educate them on the pros and cons and what could possibly happen, I have a consent form, as well as every veterinarian does, because, we're putting your pet in our hands. You're putting your pet in our hands. So we have to give you all the information so that you can make an informed decision. So even after having gotten all the information, some pet owners still want to try to see if they can maneuver their environment in a way that prevents them from having to, but when you get to the rabies, that's where it gets difficult, because rabies is everywhere. It's not that it's necessarily so prevalent all the time, but as far as where it is, it's in all mammals, mice, bats, rats, voles, moles. All of those animals can potentially have rabies. And so if your dog ever goes outside, there's a chance that they could be exposed. Okay. So that's a possibility. And some people, they're kind of like at the gambling table, willing to take that risk. And that's okay. We don't do judgment zones here at Dr. Croom Mobile Veterinary Service. Another aspect that deals with vaccinations, who can put in the chat, who knows what a titer is? Who knows what titer testing is? All right, I'm going to put whoever puts this answer in here up on the board. Who knows what titer testing is? Might be something that you could ask your holistic veterinarian to do. And you may have heard about this before. Mel's like, I do, but I'll give somebody else a chance too. I think that's what VetTech Tony was saying a minute ago too. She was like, I know. I'm like, okay. I'll just wait a minute. So let me see. I don't know if anybody else is really in the chat, really trying to do it, Mel. I might have to let you go on ahead and take that. Take that. Okay, so go ahead, Mel, put it in the chat. And then I'm going to give a little explanation about it. So titer testing is a really important aspect of veterinary medicine that people with a holistic focus, they usually know about it. Okay, so if you haven't heard about it and you don't know about it, again, this is where that education piece comes in. Let me go ahead and put this in so you can see how this is spelled. I think sometimes people spell it differently, but we're talking about titer testing. Titer. Okay, so let me see. Did Mel come over here? Okay. So I didn't see any other. I'm looking over here in the other chat. Okay, I don't see anything over here. Let me check again. Sometimes they need to refresh. Okay. Boom. Hello, Mr. Jackson. Good evening. Great to see you. All right, so we've got a correct answer here, and I'm going to pop it up here. Titer testing it's a test that shows how much antibodies from that vaccination your pet Has. That's right. Let me say that again. Titer testing is a test that your veterinarian can do, pull a little bit of blood, and send it into the lab and see exactly how much of rabies antibody is still in their body, how much distemper, parvovirus, whatever the test is for, you can see how much is in there, and you can look at the numbers to see if that's a high enough quality, a high enough amount to protect your pet. So a lot of holistic minded pet owners like titer testing and they want to know more about it. Now, one thing I will say, here in Kalamazoo County, I've had several clients ask about the titer testing, and well, I won't say unfortunately, our county and probably a lot of counties do not accept titer testing. They still require, for rabies anyway, they still require the rabies vaccination and in order to get licensure. Now, I know some states, I think Tennessee maybe doesn't do dog licensing, or maybe that's, I've got a friend in Memphis who I think she said no licenses were required there, but here in Michigan they definitely are. And one other thing that I want to mention, outside of titer testing, another thing that I do as a holistic vet to help mitigate the toxins that holistic pet owners are worried about with vaccinations is we offer 3-year vaccinations for some vaccines. Okay, that's right. So we don't give 3-year vaccinations to puppies. Okay, so for instance, if you have a puppy and it gets its first rabies, usually around 4 months, it will get a 1-year rabies vaccination. Then the next year, more than likely, they might get another 1 year. Okay, so we're building up that level of antibody in that puppy, that young dog. And then probably that next year, assuming that there's no gaps in there and everything, we can give that young dog now a 3-year rabies vaccination. That is amazing, because that means what? That's 2 whole years that you don't have to receive the vaccine, and pet owners love that. They love that. So make sure that if you're not with me at Dr. Croom Mobile Veterinary Service, you make sure that you ask your vet if that's an option. 3-year rabies vaccination, very common. 3-year distemper parvo combinations, very common. We do them all the time here at the clinic. So that's definitely a great way to mitigate vaccinations, because I believe that vaccinations are important. They absolutely are, especially when the young animal is young, a baby. They don't have any antibodies other than what the mother has given them, and you want to make sure they are fully covered. Okay, we know that viruses mutate, they change over the years, and we want to the research community within the vet world to keep us up to date on how things are changing and moving. Okay, so we talked about dog vaccinations tonight and whether or not they were crucial. I let you know that as a holistic veterinarian, a lot of times people reach out to me and ask if there's any way that they can reduce or even totally omit certain vaccinations. And based on where they live, the age of their pet, with me having a senior pet focus, as senior pets get older, I'm recommending 3-year rabies. Or if they come to me more on a hospice, like, okay, we know things are slowing down, we want to we're not vaccinating anymore. They've had, 10, 12 years of vaccinations. We're not doing it anymore. Okay. I stand behind you on that one. So we're going to close up here. Remember, I am going live every single night this week, and probably next week too. I mean, just look for, 7:30, that's the time. That's the time where Dr. Croom Army Vet comes and gives amazing holistic pet care advice, as well as trying to see what you guys out in the audience know. Let me see, there's a couple more comments here. What are we talking about? Okay, we've got a question in the audience. Can titer testing help us pet owners save money? Absolutely. Okay, because once you get the test, you know what the levels are. You could potentially get the test, once when the animal's a little younger and kind of see, okay, they've got, 12 micrograms of rabies, right? And then, maybe they get a 1 year rabies, and then 2 years later or 3 years later, you take another test, you're like, now they got 11 micrograms of rabies. Like, that's not very much less at all. You know what? We're going to stop right here. That will prevent you from having to get more rabies. That will prevent, a lot of things. So yes, sir, tighter testing can potentially help pet owners save money. But again, with the rabies, we want to just let you know that a lot of places do not accept tighter testing to stop you from having to get the rabies. Legally, it's often still required. Great question, Mr. Jackson. All right. Okay. Kelly, she just left a great comment that she believes that vaccines are important and that you need to build up that immunity against diseases that they can get, just like your kids. Okay. But then we know there's people out there that don't agree with that either. But that's a whole nother topic on a whole nother night. Again, you are here. Thank you so much, Kelly. I appreciate that. And that was a great question. Thank you, Michelle D. Clark. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. I appreciate you guys being here. And we're going to close this out. It's 8:00 over here. All right. People got to get stuff done. All right. Great. Come see me again tomorrow at 7:30. We're going to have another amazing topic, and we're going to get with it. We're going to help your pets live their best lives. See you soon.